Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
Ladies and gentlemen, better late than never, but never late is better.
Ooh, I like that quote.
Didn't Drake say that?
Yeah.
That was Drake. Wise words of Aubrey Graham.
Mm.
I mean, I feel like we should be honest with our fans.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes things come up and, you know, work and stuff like that, but we always try to make it work. This week, something a little bit more serious came up.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys are okay with talking about it, but I would like to tell our audience why we were late, because I think there's maybe some good lessons in it.
Yeah, so our father recently retired. He was traveling back and forth with my mom to Honolulu, where he was working on a project. He's an engineer. And he's been semi-retired for the last couple of years, took on a consulting gig that ended up being 2.5 years in Hawaii. And while he was out in Hawaii, he started having shortness of breath, heartburn, things like that. And, you know, he's 76 years old, so not a young guy, so my mom was concerned. So when he came back to LA, he started getting things checked. They started checking his heart. They started checking everything and finally couldn't decipher what it was. Finally, do an angiogram, which is looking at your arteries. And they find that his arteries are clogged, and pretty severely. And that happened last Monday.
So when you do the angiogram, the hope is that you could put a stent and just keep it moving.
Yep.
But if you can't do that, you have to have open heart surgery.
And he couldn't.
He couldn't do the stent because one artery was 100% closed, another one was 70% closed.
Yes.
So you're talking like crazy blockage.
And interesting fact, Indians have smaller arteries?
Yes. Indians and Filipinos have small arteries.
Yeah, that's what the
And
surgeon
who has the
told us.
biggest ones?
White guys in Texas, he said.
He said cowboys specifically.
Yeah,
That means cowboys have big arteries.
Big guys. Big guys have big arteries.
Gosh.
So
of
MAGA
course
guys have
they
big
do.
arteries.
Of course. These MAGA guys have their strong-ass arteries.
Yeah.
I guess that's why they're not fazed by all the barbecue in Texas.
No, they're just sucking down Pringles and barbecue.
Yeah,
and
with the big arteries.
MAGA, with the blood flowing cleanly in and out of their heart. Gosh.
So we get a notice that the angiogram shows this blockage. And because of my other complications, my father has diabetes, he has some kidneys issues, they were like, we have to wane off some of this medication before we can have surgery. So that's 6 days later. So the last 7 days has been extremely tense for our family because you have this blockage, you have a surgery coming, and so it's just been very anxious, just going through the process. Yesterday, meaning Tuesday, he had the operation, and we went to the hospital in the morning. We spent all day. The surgeon comes out, tells us it was a quadruple bypass. So 4 arteries.
So basically what they're doing is they're bypassing the clogged arteries. So they take
veins from your
leg, put it to have blood flowing in and out of the heart. So that's why it's like there's a road traffic and they're bypassing the traffic.
It's insane.
It's insane.
They did it 4 times?
Yeah.
But so
it just looks like where the 405 meets the 110.
And they just put a couple rows on top.
While it is a very invasive surgery and there potential for complications and all that, it is a very routine surgery.
Yeah.
So the surgeon...
Our surgeon was doing like 2 a day.
He's doing 2 a day.
Which is nuts.
So, and it has like a 98% success rate.
Yeah.
So while it's tense when you're going under and you're doing a very invasive surgery, like no question.
Yeah.
The odds were in his favor, in our family's favor.
Yeah.
So sure, it's anxious, but you were always like, play the math.
Yep.
And I think the real interesting thing that I kind of took away from it is we joke about our little bubble talk of how we eat and how we drink and how all those things we talk about, but like all of those things have such a massive impact on your body later in life. So our parents are immigrants. My father specifically, generally ate unhealthy most of his life. And,
Was he still eating unhealthy?
No, he had gotten healthy.
Okay.
Like, but in his 60s.
Yeah.
He got healthy in his 60s, which, you know, it's not that it's too late, but there's damage has been done to his body.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not exercising and eating right in your 30s and 40s,
Yeah.
you may not pay for it right now, but it catches up to everyone.
Yeah.
And I think
Unless you're a big cowboy.
unless you're a cowboy.
These freaking Cowboys, man. That shit sucks. Of all
Well,
the
maybe
people.
something, yeah, you know, there's
Something else will catch up to them.
Yeah, and
so maybe they not have heart disease.
Yeah, they
but-
may have heart disease.
Sure, there's a lot. They're playing with fire.
Yeah, and like I think like people's sugar intake and people's dairy intake and all those things have placed such a big alcohol, smoking. Like at the end of the day, it's about moderation, and unfortunately, most people aren't able to be moderate. So if you have to be extreme and cut things out of your life, you just got to do it. Like there shouldn't be a discussion in terms of like damaging your body, because people just be like, "Oh, I like it. Who cares?" And then when you're like, you know, 80 years old, you'd be like, "Fuck,
Or
why did I
it
do
could
that?"
happen younger.
Younger, yeah.
Yeah, 80's pretty good.
Yeah, 80's
You know,
good if
start
that's
having
what.
these problems.
Yeah, it's just like, and the thing is, the technology is so good that if you kind of play like, in your favor, there are things along the way of, God forbid, things happen. You put a stent, you know, things
Yeah,
like that.
I've had a doctor tell me that if you don't have a heart attack and die instantly and you can make it to the hospital, they can figure it out. Like the technology in medicine has gotten so good, as long as you just make it to the hospital alive.
yeah.
But
Just
also,
gotta
I
get
mean,
there.
lucky for you guys too, because your dad's arteries were that blocked, and he had been feeling chest pain and shortness of breath.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, something
Yeah.
could have happened.
Exactly.
Thank God that he caught it, and it was still enough time and all that stuff. you
Yeah,
know?
no, it's been a scary week, and you know, fortunately, everything so far has turned out really well. I just actually came from the hospital. I was sitting up. It's gnarly surgery, like crazy incision down your chest.
Yeah.
And like it's gonna take time.
That's
But
crazy.
you know, it's just a warning for all like everybody to like really care about your health.
Like the 30s and 40s matter.
And go to the doctor.
Yeah.
It's just like even me, I fought it for years, and like I went I'm getting my annual checkups again, and like it matters, especially now I'm like approaching 40.
Yep.
Like I definitely have to go to the doctor.
Yeah. You got to get that prostate exam. Are you in that age range yet? You
I
have to
think
go
it's
at-
after 40,
After
right?
40.
Oh, man, you're right in the finger
Yeah.
in the butt zone.
Maybe we'll do a live pod from there.
We'll be on the other side of the curtain, and you'll
Yeah.
be kind of bent over, sticking out. Okay, so guys, we apologize for being late, but at least we came with some good news for the Murthys, and also a good little lesson, good
Yeah.
little inspiration for everyone
Yeah.
out there.
It's amazing.
The other thing I want to talk about quick is, I mean, I don't know, man. It's a shame that 3 people can't run for president.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what your guys' feedback was looking
Yeah.
like, but after our conversation about the mass shootings and the gun issues and all that stuff, like I was expecting, when we do stuff like that, I'm just expecting to probably not check my DMs the next day
Yeah.
because I'm going to get yelled at by the fat cowboys that live forever.
Yeah.
It was nothing but positive.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I've ever talked about something like that publicly and gotten mainly positive feedback.
And I think the
But
more
think
interesting
about that. Isn't that
that's
in
the
a
solution.
divisive country,
Yeah.
everyone agrees on one thing and it still can't get done?
Not
Think
even
about
talked
that structurally.
Even
Yeah.
people that are gun owners and like guns who reached out to me, and I screenshotted a lot of the DMs. I want to share them at some point, but they were even like, they're like, maybe, you know, do you understand why people want to own a gun? And I go, look, I don't understand why people want to own guns. I never want to own a gun. I don't know how to operate a gun. I'm not fit to own a weapon. I know that. If you want to own a weapon, and there are very strict processes for you to get one, great. You know, it's like the same. The comparison is to an abortion, to a driver's license, all these other things in life that require tests and require time and a waiting period. There needs to be that. And with that being said, I think everyone is on the same page. There's no reason to have assault rifles.
Yeah.
I mean,
it seems like pretty much everyone agrees. I'm sure there's some people out there that right now are like, you stupid, you don't understand. But it's
actually
pretty universal.
Yeah, and you know what? When I was sitting in the hospital with my dad, he was watching CNN, and it showed that people in Dayton, including the mayor, has said to Trump, if you're not doing anything about this problem, don't come. And there's massive protest in Ohio right now, which now officially is an election issue because if Ohio is the state that could determine the next president, and they are serious about gun laws, then either Republicans have to change their tune very, very quickly, or they're going to lose the election, because this is Ohio. This is who will determine the president. And they're saying, if you're not coming here with a solution, get your ass out of here.
Did you hear Sean Hannity's solution?
No.
I just saw him trending. I didn't even read it.
So his solution is there needs to be a armed guard at every mall, every floor, every school, every entrance. Just arm the whole country.
Got it.
Well, luckily
Cool.
he's just a clown-ass Fox News reporter.
Yeah. God. But that, I don't know. I mean, I think, here's the thing. Sean Hannity's doing it for ratings. And
He doesn't. He can't. Does that even happen?
The problem is there's a lot of people that listen to Sean Hannity that think that it's true and think, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
They think, I mean, the loudest voice makes it really clear that Fox News has a very big audience that lives and dies by every word that comes out of that network.
I just want to say, if you're a Fox News Trump guy, I know you're not listening to this podcast, first of all, but just in case you're the one straggler, watch Loudest Voice, watch The Great Hack, watch Get Me Roger Stone, and tell me honestly that, like, I don't understand at this point.
Yeah,
it's like,
you got manipulated.
Gosh. What about Neil deGrasse Tyson, man?
Ugh.
This loser decides to, like, chime in with science.
Yeah, he goes,
Hey, people are dying. Look at how fun science can be.
yeah, 400 flu. People die of the flu.
Like,
and
what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, get your bullshit. Like,
Did you just get Me Too? Get out of here.
He did get Me Too,
and
but
when we talk about Clay Travis, he retweeted that and didn't mention the gun shootings.
Yeah.
it's just like, what are you doing, dude? I thought Neil deGrasse Tyson was cool.
Nah, he's canceled.
Okay. All right, well, listen, I don't know. It felt really good. We joke a lot on the show. I was even a little hesitant to really get into the gun debate because we try to just keep it lighthearted and fun. But that was really an example of having a good conversation about it. And it was really well received. And that was good to see because, like I said, I was expecting us to be called liberal idiots.
Yeah. And what's your prediction?
People in Ohio.
What's the prediction? Are there going to be any laws presented in either the Senate, or forget presented because they will be presented in the House and Senate, actually will legislation be affected in the next 18 months?
No. Nothing will happen in the next 18 months. It will be the single biggest topic, election.
I think there will be a bullshit thing passed. Like, no, you can't have 7 magazines that hold more than 1,000 rounds. Like, all right, fine, we'll give
5 AR-15s per person.
Yeah,
max.
no bazookas.
Yeah.
But then I think agree with Dee. It'll be a huge thing for the new election.
I think it will be the most political divisive thing because.
Well, I don't know if it's divisive. It's just the politicians don't want to do anything about it.
It's not
I
even
think
divisive anymore, man. It's such a small vocal minority.
I know, but it will be. So every Republican congressperson running for re-election, Senate person running for re-election, Donald Trump, how is he going to answer the question? You just have to. That's what's going to be the divisiveness.
Yeah, and I think this is a huge opportunity for Republicans.
Yeah, because if they change their tune with the economy on fire, you win.
Yeah.
It just bums me out when you look at what New Zealand did.
Yeah.
New Zealand had a shooting on like Friday, and on Monday, as soon as work started, they had a solution.
Yeah. I mean,
like, take some charge here, you asshole.
Yeah, and I get it. There's a lot of political, clout being played, and it's not even about anything but power, but like, it'd be interesting to see.
Okay. All right, ready to get in some news?
Yeah.
First order of business. I'm going to start with something actually very sad and very devastating, especially to me in my life.
Mm-hmm.
iPic movie theaters have filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Now, for people who don't know what iPic is, because there's not that many of them, there are these theaters that they have in California, they also have it in a few other states, that are small. They have reclining couches. You get a pillow and a blanket. You hit a button and they bring you food, not bad food, alcohol, whatever you want.
Great experience.
The movie. Incredible experience. Turns out, not enough people give a shit. This thing's potentially out of here. I mean, it is Chapter 11, but it looks like someone's got to come in and figure this thing out big time.
Yeah, they're trying to dump it. I think they're fucked. I think they'll get bailed out by somebody, but it's a structural problem in all things consumer retail wise right now, which is rents are too high. Where iPic needs to be is in areas with high incomes because it's so expensive.
And there only should be a handful.
Yeah. So I think
here it kind of is that. Like it's in a nice area in Pasadena, which isn't the best.
Yeah.
Westwood.
Yeah.
There's only 2.
So did you hear how they explained why they haven't like succeeded in the last few years? So they say basically say that if you look at all the big box office movies of the last 4 years, it's superhero movies, basically movies that cater to people that are under 18, family movies, which iPic doesn't cater to. So if you're a family of 4, spending $32 a ticket versus 16 is pretty impactful, and all the big blockbuster movies have been those, so they're not driving traffic to iPic.
I mean, they should have known that. That's historically the case.
That's an excuse, not a, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's enough people over 21 watching those movies. There's 40-year-old nerds watching Avengers.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And they want to have.
And those theaters are small. They seat like, I don't know, 50 people.
Yeah, I mean, like
come on.
And I will say they don't have enough showings.
They what?
They don't have enough showings. Because I would love to go to iPic more, but whenever I need to find a movie, it's like 10 o'clock or 7 p.m. There's no
they can't
8
afford
p.m.
it.
Yeah.
Can't
We do
afford
3 a day.
Yeah, I think they're in a tough position. I thought this kind of high-end movie experience, at least in LA, would work.
But here's what needs to happen. Let them die and be the ones that prove there was a bit of a demand for this, and ArcLight or whatever the big cinemas are, just start adding, like I've seen some of those places add reclining seats and start to add a little bit.
Yeah.
But why don't those guys just, even if you only have 2
one theater,
theaters out
yeah.
of your 12, that's a VIP experience, like the ArcLight in Hollywood now lets you order and take in alcohol to all the theaters. Like
That's
they're all
great.
obviously going that way.
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately, maybe iPic needs to die, but these guys need to adopt.
They're saying industry experts think Netflix may buy iPic at whatever discount through the bankruptcy process and just use it as a place to
I'm down for that.
showcase their movies.
Well, here's the other thing. What I
That'd be
don't
cool.
understand about the movie.
That'd be a great place to host
watch-
press and
Go
celebrities.
watch Stranger Things. And
Well, that's my point. I think there's this enormous opportunity with movie theaters. You have this real estate. You have these amazing theaters. Why not show other shit? I know there's licensing rights involved, but like when the Olympics are on, why not sell tickets to watch the Olympics together? People would pay money, pay $20 to watch like the World Cup finals together.
Or like a Floyd Mayweather fight.
Floyd, yeah, whatever. I don't know. Obviously,
Whatever
there's
event
licensing
is.
issues are.
NBA Finals. Or,
And if there was a, Monday Night Football, I bet you Monday night movie theaters are dead. Fine. Monday Night Football at the iPic or at ArcLight. People would go. You bring your alcohol, you get to watch Monday Night Football with a bunch of crazy people. It would be fun. Like, why not utilize the space a little bit better? Even the premiere of a TV show. Like, let's all go watch Two and a Half Men.
Maybe you should get a group and buy the iPic out of bankruptcy.
Nah.
get some friends together, man. Get some Monday Night Football going down at iPic. I'll head over.
I'll own one iPic.
Buy the Westwood one.
Westwood. That's the only one I'd buy.
Stay with your people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't be roaming out.
Okay, well, here's more bad news for you and your people.
Yeah.
Added to the bankruptcy list is Barney's.
Yep.
And it looks like they filed Chapter 11.
Mm-hmm.
They have until October 24th to find a buyer to avoid complete liquidation. That is sketchy. When I first read it, I was like, when I first read that they filed bankruptcy, I was like, okay, whatever. Who cares? They'll restructure, go bankrupt again in 6 years. They have till October 24th to figure this shit out.
And they're announcing they're closing, I think 15 of their 20 stores. So they're closing such hotbed stores as Seattle, Las Vegas. And so a lot of those co-op stores, I think all the co-op stores might be gone. And they're just keeping their handful of big locations. And this one's scary because everything you read about luxury is working. Fashion is hotter than ever. The brands that they carry are hotter than ever. They are just not working. Obviously, there's a couple issues. Usual problem, private equity company came in, bought it. Sure.
Yeah, as far as back as 2007
Yeah.
was the first time they played the let's load the...
200 million of debt this business has.
Yeah, so someone needs to do the analysis of retail versus in the sense like...
Is it actually a good business?
No, in terms of how many of these retailers failed because they couldn't make their interest payments because they were loaded with debt versus do these businesses work in a smaller capacity? Because sure, Barney's may not need whatever the number is, 26 stores, but you're just structurally, you can't pivot when you have this, when you have $200 million of debt. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So these businesses just go under.
It's got to be a lot, right?
Yeah, I would think almost all of, I mean, the only reason any of these companies go bankrupt is because they can't service their debt and the creditors take over the business, right? So it's all of them, but I want to know what the real analysis of
maybe
retail
it's not a bad
is.
business.
Or maybe they could have just made a pivot.
Yeah.
You know, like go more e-com, have your big LA, New York, you know, they're still like, this is what blows my mind is, I know the stores are so massive and in some of the most expensive real estate that exists, but they're still cool.
Yeah.
Like launching a brand in Barney's or being in Barney's, or it's still very, very cool. It's not like, I would like to say, oh, they're part of the old regime, but they're not. They're still really cool.
They have the best brands. They've been very instrumental in launching some of the hottest brands in the world. They're a very important retailer for the luxury space. So, I mean, if they, let's assume they're completely wiped off the map, then here comes Saks. Nordstrom has now recently become a big player in the luxury. In a few stores, they're carrying like Balenciaga, things like that. And then Neiman Marcus potentially could be a player. And then whatever other scraps like a Farfetch can pick up if the right brands are available through those channels. But Forward with Revolve can win. You know, it's like, but I think in luxury, you got to have retail.
Yeah, and here's the
when
real
I'm spending
takeaway.
that kind of money, I want to walk in a store, have champagne.
See other rich people.
Yeah, you got to see other rich people. I want to see a rich Chinese person.
Rich people love to look at other rich people.
And
Yeah.
the real takeaway is this iteration of retail was destroyed by private equity companies.
Yeah.
Because we know Amazon's going to open up tons of retail in the next 10 to 15 years. There's a handful of digitally native e-commerce businesses that are proving omni-channel with physical retail stores work.
Yeah.
So it can work.
Yeah.
It just has to be structurally, built properly.
Private equity should be illegal for private equity to own retail. Lock them up.
You know
Lock
who private
them
equity
up.
is terrified of? Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah.
If she gets the nomination and God forbid wins,
They carry
she's
interest
coming.
tax.
She's coming so hard for
Because she
private
knows
equity.
that is one of the biggest loopholes.
Yeah, because it's like what Drama says. It's too technical for the average person to understand. But you can solve a lot if you just clean up what private equity is doing.
Yeah, send them back.
Yeah.
I don't know where to, but send them back.
Harvard and Stanford.
Send them back to Harvard and Stanford.
And Wharton.
Harvard, Stanford, Wharton.
Yeah.
God, these guys, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
Unless you're interested in working down the line. Some of you are really
Yeah,
good.
Some of my best friends work in private equity.
Yeah, well, they're all scumbags and snakes.
I'm going to lock them all up. When
I've
Elizabeth
met
Warren
some of
comes
those
up,
friends. They seem a little slimy.
I'm going to be the guy that comes and arrests you. I'll do that for free.
Or you could be the one calling out the
could be
names.
like-
Did you check out X?
Yeah.
You should start a show that's Dog the Bounty Hunter
For private equity.
Yeah.
Where I just pin them against the wall. You scumbag, you screwed over 50,000 Americans.
They're not
Lock
hard
you
to
up.
pin. They're not very strong guys.
Yeah,
know?
that's why I can do it.
Yeah.
But they have strong security at the bottom of their building.
Yeah, we got to start low. Start with the lower guys because
There's
they walk around a lot.
There's some
over
hack private equity guys that have like hack offices. We'll go
Yeah.
after them.
Yeah, you can catch them right now over at Alfred Coffee in a polo. Okay. All right. Next up, what's going on with Disney? Looks like Disney. I'm new to being a day trader, but like very actively a day trader. It looks like Disney shares are down. I thought we had everything figured out here.
They laid an egg on their most recent earnings. They disappointed on earnings and revenue, and the stock kind of took a dive today. I think this is the article, sorry. And I think the biggest concern that they had was Fox, they're blaming their Fox merger as part of the reason why things are slow. and that the theme park attendance is lower. Apparently, the new Star Wars did not drive people in as they expected. And so I think those are the two big things. I think the Fox thing was the biggest reason why they felt like it's weighed down profits. But that they have the IP. So like if I'm a Disney shareholder, I'd be like, okay, whatever. It's a bad quarter. The merger just happened. The theme parks, sure, they're down. Maybe the fight turned away a few people.
Maybe clean up the fist fights, asshole.
And then there's a lot of expense going towards building their streaming business. So
that's the biggest. Just everything. Everyone needs to just focus on that.
Yeah.
Because they have the IP. Their movies are going to continue to crush for the next decade. Like, there's no question, right?
Yeah.
But the streaming battle that they are about to embark on is just so scary, but they have no choice but to get in the fight.
Yeah.
Because it is the future of how we consume content. So they announced their bundle. So it's Disney streaming, Hulu, and ESPN Plus for
$12.99.
$1 less than Netflix, I think. And what's Netflix?
Well, this is $12.99. It's the same cost as Netflix.
Okay.
Netflix is $12.99. So you're getting all that. ESPN Plus is useless.
And they're
Netflix is
losing
fucked.
so much money on ESPN Plus. I don't think ESPN Plus adds anything because all the major games, Monday Night Football, already have TV rights that have been bought for years that are dedicated to network television.
Yeah, I don't
So
need-
that won't be on ESPN Plus. You get these like Big West.
ESPN Plus is worth zero to the consumer.
Yes.
No one wants it.
All you're getting in ESPN Plus is like games that no one cares about in regional markets, and Kobe analyzing like some basketball.
I don't want him to analyze anything I'm watching.
No.
So I'm good with that.
Yep.
Disney Plus is the winner. This is the real reason. And then, sure, here's Hulu. There's a couple good shows on it. Good. You go throw it in for
but
free.
it's so scary because
But Disney has the IP.
agrees, but this is not how Disney operates as a company. Netflix is operating like we're going to lose billions and billions of dollars and just aggregate users.
You know what?
This isn't the playbook Disney's used to, and neither are their shareholders.
Yeah.
So in 2 years, when you say, "Wait, we lost $4 billion because Netflix spent 30,"
Yeah.
what are they going to do?
So then the way the shareholder has to look at it is, if you think, so Netflix today is a market cap, I think, of like 130 billion. Disney's market cap with all their revenue, everything they do is like $240 billion, right? So you have to assume if you're a Disney shareholder, they're going to get subscribers in the tens of millions, right? It's the iPic situation. Every reason why iPic failed is the reason why Disney is succeeding. All those people are automatically, anyone that has ever had a child has to sign up for Disney Plus, okay? So however many families on earth, those people all sign up for Disney Plus. The other interesting thing I think about where people said Netflix is winning in streaming while they're kicking a lot of people's ass is that they've thrived internationally, right? There's no bigger name internationally than Disney. You can go to any corner of the earth and they know who Mickey Mouse is. Everyone knows the little guy with the ears. Everyone knows Mickey Mouse, okay? That mouse is golden.
I agree. It's going to be interesting how the market gives value to it because this is the thing we talked about, I think, two podcasts ago, how legacy businesses don't get credit for the same strategy that new businesses do.
Yeah.
And when Disney starts acquiring millions and millions of customers, but they're like, wait, Disney, the streaming service is losing $2 billion.
Yeah.
How do we think about that?
Yeah.
I think Netflix is screwed long term. I'm going to be honest. I just think like, man, everyone's like,
I don't think they're screwed. I
is there
just
a
think,
fucking music studio up here?
yeah, there's a lot of bass coming in the background.
Hopefully
Guys, I don't know if
doesn't
you can
get
just hear
caught
our
in the
new
market.
background music, but our neighbors apparently are working on it.
I don't mind the song though.
Hot record. Okay, my point is, I just think when you see them bundling Hulu and ESPN, just the optics of it, with all of Disney for the same price as Netflix, it just starts to look more worth
They'll
it.
figure it
and
out.
when a recession comes and everyone, like we always talk about, is cutting all these subscriptions down to one or two, I don't know. It's just, it seems like Netflix is in a tough spot.
Yeah, I think each person will be responsible for a group of people. That's what I really think. I think young people, meaning you're 18 to 30, are going to be our Netflixers. I think Disney is your families. I think that's where that audience will play. I think
Apples for the young adults.
What?
Apples for the young adults.
Apple.
But
will be-
Netflix recently has been crushing it with the teen rom-coms that
Yeah.
like 14-year-old kids are
That's true.
watching.
Who, Netflix?
Netflix.
Yeah.
Maybe they win there.
Yeah,
But that's
win there.
families. So the 13-year-old, the family with
But-
the 13-year-old has to decide if there's a 10-year-old that wants Disney, the 13-year-old
Yeah.
wants teen rom-com, who wins?
The 10-year-old wants his Lion King, and the 13-year-old wants like weird
Yeah.
teen sex shows.
Teen, yeah. Love,
Yeah.
maybe, or whatever. Always be my maybe. That's one that's on there.
Oh, that's one.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I think the real loser is going to be the consumer, because I feel like we were winning and from a content perspective the last 4 or 5 years, because Netflix wasn't very expensive and you're getting so much content and they had all the licensed shows, and all that is disappearing.
But you
Now
also,
it's becoming fragmented again.
I also think
And
that,
to get that same experience, it's going to cost more.
Yeah.
I also think the real loser will be the cable industry. The amount of people that are completely going to leave cable to these streaming networks is going to be big. By the way, Disney's remaking Home Alone.
Love Home Alone.
Sign me up. I'll take a membership. $12.99?
I watched Home Alone every day one summer.
Yeah.
You guys are idiots. Well, you were
I didn't watch.
drinking Mountain Dew and Smash
Home
Oreos.
Alone was one summer, Mighty Ducks 2 was the next summer.
Yeah, I
I
probably
think.
did the same thing with Home Alone.
But where's live sports going to sit? Because that's a massive.
Hulu has live
industry.
sports. Hulu has live sports. Hulu, that's literally, they got me.
Maybe they win.
Somebody will just,
Because, we can talk about sports ratings go down. It's still like a tens of billions of dollars
Yeah.
a year industry.
Let's,
live sports. And it's not disappearing.
That's the only reason why I have DirecTV. We were talking
Yeah.
about it yesterday. I only have it so I can watch football.
So this is what I'm saying. Consumers are screwed because in a family of 4, one person wants sports, one person wants Disney, one person wants teen rom-coms, one person wants Succession. And maybe there's some overlap, but there might not be.
yeah, it's messed
Someone's
up.
going to pay the price in that family.
Someone's getting screwed.
Yeah.
Someone's getting screwed, yeah. That's what it is.
I think the guy that watches Succession's getting screwed.
He's,
He's the least
He's
important
the last
person.
on the list.
Yeah, like,
There might be overlap between the sports guy and the Succession person.
yeah, but
Good,
we're
but-
not signing up for HBO just for Succession. Sorry.
What about Euphoria? Okay, we got to move on.
Okay.
Did you see this freaking, when it comes to, we were talking about fat Texas cowboys with their big ass arteries.
Yeah.
This is kind of in line with that. These guys don't look too fat, but they definitely seem like idiots. There's this photo that went viral of these 2 police officers in Texas who look like they have arrested a homeless man.
Mm-hmm.
The homeless man happens to be African American.
Yeah.
They are walking him to some destination. He just happens to be tied with a rope because they're on their horses. So this image is 2 white police officers on horseback leading a black man by rope to a destination, which literally looks like a complete slave scene.
It's from a movie.
Yeah, it
From
looks
a
like 12 Years a Slave.
It is. When I saw this, I thought it was a joke.
It is a joke.
It is a joke. It's in Galveston, Texas. I mean, get your fat ass off that horse.
He's like,
And
I got
arrest
great
him.
arteries.
Yeah, he's like, you know how long I'm going to live?
Yeah.
I'm not going to waste these arteries walking you to the car.
Oh my God.
It's so, I just don't understand. I don't understand.
Someone must have common sense. Even if it just happened, you got on the horse, you had the rope, and you're like, oh shit.
I never understood
Yeah.
why cops ever thought riding on horses is an efficient way to police a situation.
Get to be high up.
up. You made that up.
Well,
Get a truck.
It looks.
Get a freaking SUV.
Yeah, it's not efficient. You have a big ass horse.
I think
You should-
they do
I've
it like
asked
in
a cop
Hollywood.
about this. I forgot what the answer was, but it, like in a crowded area, like a parade, you can't just have a car going through it. So the horse is good.
But those things on cement looking all wonky
And
and trying to turn around.
if something happens, is he jumping off the horse and running?
horses, these are very well trained horses.
So
So
look
then-
at you. You're the advocate for horses. You know horses.
I
then-
like horses.
So then the horse is going to stampede a crowd of people
But
to get to the
history has
altercation.
shown the horses have held their ground. It's the police officers we have to worry about.
That's true. That is true. We're worried
When
about
was the
wrong
last
thing.
time we were putting a horse down because he killed somebody?
Yeah, that horse didn't have a rope.
The horses
around
only
that.
go down when they lose at the Kentucky Derby.
That's true.
Exactly.
Well, listen, I don't know. I mean, it blows my mind that even happens. It also blows my mind that in an age where a photo of such a thing can go viral, somebody isn't even more aware of like, oh, this looks bad.
Yeah.
You just literally do not give a shit about that guy so much that the thought didn't even cross your mind that you look like a frickin' slave master.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, that's what's going on in the world. Anyway, also speaking of crowds dispersing, did you guys see the clip of Times Square getting just completely emptied out?
I didn't see it, but you were mentioning it.
So apparently last night, and you know, once again, not to be too serious, but it's sad in the sense of this is the amount of fear that's just sitting in large crowds. Apparently a motorcycle backfired a couple times in Times Square. They thought it was gunfire. It was like everyone, the whole thing was empty in 1 minute. People just went running for their lives, and it turned out it was nothing. But
I think all these incidents are eventually going to have serious impact on places we go to.
yeah,
Because like you hear any loud noise anywhere, people flinch, seriously flinch.
Yeah.
And so in a place like Times Square, which is like always high threat alert, you hear a backfire of a motorcycle, I mean, which can sound like a gun, it could sound like anything. Given all the situations, it's like...
You know, when we went to the Spider-Man premiere, when we were figuring out where we're supposed to go, we're walking along Hollywood Boulevard, the number of people we were trapped in between.
yeah.
Like, if something happened, we were screwed.
Well, it's over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely screwed.
That's why you throw a couple fireworks in there. I'm
Stampeding.
stampeding over
You wish you had a horse.
I wish I had a damn horse.
Yeah, that's why you need the horses.
Get out of here. Zendaya's not coming. Trample.
Yeah, I mean, I don't enjoy going to any places that are crowded.
I love the Grove.
The Grove is safe.
I'm taking my chances at the Grove.
I also
I feel like
valet
even a
park in the
terrorist
back. I'm in and out. I go to
Even a
grass.
Loading up that valet, you may need to be on foot.
That valet is pretty good at Grove.
Are they? Didn't AJ's car get stolen from the valet at Grove?
That's AJ's experience,
that
not mine.
Yes. So he parked his car at valet, and someone just drove off, and it was gone, never to be found.
Yeah, I just think the Grove's too happy. I think even a white supremacist or a terrorist walks in the Grove, they're like, come on. I'm not shooting this place up.
I enjoy this place.
Come on, look at the kids in the grass. People are playing cornhole. Okay, anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. Now, this one I'm really excited to hear.
Wait, we have breaking news. Barney secured financing,
Oh, wow.
$218 million
Wow.
from a firm called Brigade Capital and
Wow.
B. Riley Financial. So we will still see Barney stores.
Lives another day.
Near term.
Lives another day.
Good work.
Next up, can't wait to hear your guys' take on this because it's getting a lot of buzz, but I don't fully understand it. The NCAA, which is just a terrible, corrupt organization, initiated a new rule. So apparently previously they said that players that were thinking about going into the NBA could sort of consult with agents. That was fine. They wouldn't lose their eligibility. Yep. They made some little revisions to that those agents have to have bachelor's degrees and all that have to be vetted by them and all this different stuff. It's being called the Rich Paul rule. A lot of athletes, obviously LeBron, are not happy about it.
Yep.
And it seems like it's a bit of a scam to make sure the NCAA is always the one in control, not someone like Rich Paul, who doesn't have a bachelor's degree and is a great agent.
It's interesting that the NCAA is making the requirement because you would think the NBA would make the requirement because NBA Players Association is not requiring it. I think someone of the NBA is telling the NCAA to make this requirement because if NBA Players Association, if the players don't care that their agent went to college, why the fuck does it matter? Because it's the players who decide who their agent is. So I think someone powerful at the NBA back channel to the NCAA, let's go create this rule because this guy's stealing all my clients and I can't take it anymore.
So it would actually be another powerful agency that would be behind this, right? Because the NBA doesn't care. It doesn't affect the NBA one way or the other.
But the NBA has a lot of influence over the NCAA.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the
has
only
to be bitter
people,
agents.
Yeah, it's other bitter agents.
But I think they're using an owner. They're using somebody at the NBA to do it.
And it's also Rich Paul, one of his clients, which really pissed the NCAA off, because you have to be 1 year removed from high school to enter the NBA.
Yeah.
You don't have to go play in the NCAA. You can go play overseas. You could just sit out. You do whatever you want. But you have to be 1 year removed.
Yeah.
So a kid signed with Rich Paul. New Balance gave him $1 million for a year to be an intern.
That's a great internship.
Assuming he's just going to be, a New Balance athlete.
Good deal.
And now he's going to go into the draft this year. And so the NCAA is like, man, this guy's too creative. Like if he continues to do these types of things, NCAA is going to get hurt. It is the most corrupt organization. It's an absolute joke. It's a farce. It's shameful because I'm the one on the podcast that doesn't even think college is valuable anymore, and I was the one with almost a 4.0.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
What's crazier is you have to wait 1 year to go to the NBA, but you can get a gun right now. You can't even. You have to wait 1 year.
There's a lot crazier.
You can
shit
go to
than that.
Iraq and fight right away.
and get a gun. But you can't go to the NBA. God forbid an 18-year-old kid goes to the fucking NBA.
I just think agents are pissed. They're pissed at Rich Paul and anyone else that will be like him, and so they're trying to make it happen. I also think the NCAA they want to run their dictatorship.
Yeah.
They don't want savvy young Rich Pauls coming in here and getting our kids internships when they should be in the NCAA making us money.
Yeah, because the other legacy agents are working with the NCAA to break rules and pay off families and say, hey, turn your eye, and Rich Paul just went around all of that.
Yeah. And said, school, don't pay me any money, nothing. We'll get this done. The other thing I tweeted out was Rich Paul should just give $500,000 to USC, get a degree. We would happily sell him a degree for $500K.
Yeah, you're right.
And I love how they said
he should do that.
Yeah.
What if he does that? What if he comes out tomorrow and says, I am so thankful for my bachelor's degree
At USC.
from University of Southern California.
They made it clear it has to be a bachelor's degree because he could get an honorary degree overnight.
Yeah,
From
any
any
school,
college, give Rich Paul an honorary degree.
God, they are such losers,
It's
man.
I mean, what do they think? How is this perceived any other way other than, I don't know, taking advantage or just like trying to institutionalize power? What else is it?
Yeah.
That's just what they do. I am, from the outside, I understand that the thing is because they have so much power in sports, but like from the outside looking in, I don't understand how the NCAA has been able to do this for so long. They've been known and openly talked about as so corrupt and messed up for so long.
And let's bring one more corruption to USC.
Yeah.
So USC landed the #1 recruit for the next season for 2020 for basketball.
Wow. That's definitely paid.
It gets better. It gets better.
We
USC
suck at
basketball is
basketball.
historically terrible.
Yeah.
Right? And here's the catch. The dad got hired as assistant coach last year. So he signed the kid. How is this legal?
Yeah, and then the poor kid can get an internship.
And his brother is also had to go to SC because the dad's the coach.
Yeah.
So now the dad brought his 2-star sons to USC, and that's legal. But God forbid, someone without a bachelor degree represented a kid who wanted to come back to school.
NC2A feels like the NRA to me.
Worse. Feels worse.
Yeah, she does.
Meaning like the NRA, you get it. Like here's your mission. Here's the only way to accomplish it. We got to do all we can.
Yeah.
I get that, even though it's fucked up.
Yeah.
I blame the politicians for taking the money and doing what they want.
Yeah.
NC2A feels like we want to literally own human beings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. And fuck you if you don't like it. We have too much power.
NC2A are the two guys on the horse.
Yes.
And the athletes are the guy with the rope around him.
Absolutely.
We should Photoshop that for our group chat page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
NC2A. Student athlete.
AA.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
NC, both A's.
Yeah.
Holding this poor student athlete.
Yep.
Okay. All right, we got to keep moving because we're going long.
Okay. Well, we're giving him a hot episode.
I got some sad news. D, you're a pretty social guy.
I'm a big social guy.
Big social guy. How many friends would you say you have? You have like 300 people at your wedding, but I'm guessing all those aren't actually your friends.
I mean, I think all the people at the wedding are considered good friends.
Shots fired.
I don't know. There was a couple stragglers there that I'm pretty sure was like maybe for future business opportunities. So you have 300 friends, easily.
Well, I would say I have 150.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'd
Plus
be
ones.
friends
Your
with
wife
their
has.
significant others.
Yeah, you're right.
Not guaranteed for all of them.
Anand, same?
I think I had more.
I mean, you go to more weddings than literally anyone I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
So you have 200 friends.
Easily.
Okay. There's a survey that just came out that says that 22% of millennials, when asked, say they have zero.
Zero friends.
Zero friends. Not one friend.
That's really tough.
Can't think of one friend.
I mean, Pete, do you have any friends?
Pete, you got any friends, dude?
You seem like a lonely guy.
Not really.
Hell yeah, you do.
Yeah, what about Gian? Gion's your friend?
But it's a coworker.
Dude, that's fine.
If he left you, he would never talk to
But you
Gian
were
again.
partying this
probably
weekend.
true.
Who were you partying with?
Those are with friends.
Thank you. Okay, Pete has friends.
School friends.
Wisconsin people.
Can you imagine saying zero?
Like, hey, do you have any friends? No.
I almost did.
Like, that's it. Yeah, that's it. End of story. No, I don't have any. So it's obviously, it goes into...
So when you're on a Friday night and you have no friends and you're like, hey, I'd love to go to dinner.
You're on Fortnite and
you
Postmates
use
Pizza.
Postmates and Fortnite.
But this is
and
men
Instagram.
and women.
Okay,
Yeah, but they
so
have their version.
they're
They're
watching
watching
Netflix.
Kylie Jenner's Snapchats.
I'm like, oh, I'm going to dinner with Kylie tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kylie's having a lavish birthday in Italy.
Yeah.
I'm going to just follow that, and I'm going to order some quinoa.
30% said they're lonely.
Clearly.
I mean, guaranteed those 22 were lonely.
Yeah, I mean, all you can do is add 8%. This is a joke. So this is about whatever. Obviously, it ties into phones. It ties into all that stuff. I don't know, man. There's a bit of, not to sound like old school dude here at 32 years old, but like, there's a little bit of like, what the fuck are you doing?
It's interesting because I think our age group is the only safe like kind of age window because we grew up without the smartphone.
Yeah.
And then we were young enough to understand how to use it to our advantage.
Yeah.
Like we're not
But
afraid
we're
of all
not
these
relying
services.
on it.
And the reason why I have 200 plus friends is because I grew up in a world where like you had to, otherwise you're sitting by yourself
Yeah.
without a smartphone. What are you going to do?
Yep.
And it sucks for earlier generations that are younger people that just grew up only knowing a smartphone, never have to be forced to interact with people, never have to go outside, never have to figure out how to meet someone. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
just-
surprised. Zero is a little tough. Lonely, I get.
Zero. Lonely, I get. Zero.
Lonely, yeah. I mean, like, if you don't have companionship and, like, love or whatever, you could say, okay, that can make you lonely. But, I think 30%.
I'm trying to cut friends. Should I hand some off to some millennials?
Absolutely. You know what you should? You should start a service.
I'm
Rent a
always
friend.
looking for a friend diet.
Rent a buddy. And you guys just pass yours off and say, hey,
Yeah.
I can't make it to the wedding, but here's Tom. He actually just signed up.
Yeah.
22 years old.
Yeah.
Really driven. He'll be
Yeah,
there.
we should do a non-profit for millennials.
I just think, like, man, have we, like, where's any talk of, like, accountability? Like, I'm a big fan of hating on social media and all that stuff, and we can talk about video games and social media and blah, 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 but, like, at what point is it just like, hey, dude,
Get the fuck off the phone.
fuck off the phone and go talk to some people. You will feel better.
Yeah.
Do you think there'll ever be legislation against phone usage, social media usage?
Yes. I think it's coming.
Legislation.
Meaning, like, you have to be 21 to order a drink, and bars can't serve after 2 a.m.
I think-
whatever that equivalent is, how you relate it to social media.
I think the right politician will frame something right, and maybe it'll be like, you can't use a smartphone till you're 18 years old. You can have a phone, but you can't have a smartphone.
Or
No
like
chance.
Instagram has a
No
timer
chance.
that you can't be on Instagram more than 2 hours in a given day, and it just
There's
turns
no
off.
chance. It'll never work. People freak out when they feel like they're being controlled. There's one thing that's like, you have to wear a seatbelt. That's the law. It's for your own good, and you can't do this. I just think.
Yeah, I guess
social
if we
media-
can't take guns away, how are you
Yeah,
going to
come
take
on.
Instagram?
Literally,
away?
I can go down the street and buy an AK-47 with multiple magazines.
I think they're more likely to be legislation on social media than guns.
Oh gosh! Wait till Zuckerberg and them just have to start lobbying a little bit because.
But they're lobbying a lot.
Well, that's what
They're
I'm
like the
saying.
biggest-
Wait till it's really like a threat.
Yeah.
But at what point, because these are so hard to kind of just quantify, social media's demise of society on mental health, how to quantify what mental health even means,
Yep.
and our society's just deteriorating.
I have
because of
another
all of it.
solution.
Yep.
And we're just going to watch it happen?
I have another solution. If
I
you have
kind of feel that way lately. I kind of do. Not to be like super like negative about it, but I just kind of feel like this is like human nature. Like we're not gonna
we're self-destructive.
we're not gonna stop until it's like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Think about it, man. Think about the fact that we are watching back-to-back people gun down crowds of people with military weapons, and we can't even get someone to say you can no longer buy military weapons at gun shows without a background check. Like you can't do anything.
Yeah.
So people would have to be like jumping out of buildings left and right with their Instagram open before
Selfies.
maybe, yeah. before.
Yeah, what does that
maybe.
number have to be for something to change? 100% of millennials have 0 friends.
Yeah,
What if
but
they-
you have to. It has to be like the suicide rates are insane, and people are writing in their suicide notes, "Instagram did this." After 3,000 of those, maybe we get a little change. It's on you. That's the thing that I think is so important in this. I'm getting preachy, but in this generation is the regulations aren't coming. Help isn't coming. Do it yourself. You know that social media is bad for you. You see all these kids with 0 friends. Stay off your goddamn phone and go make some friends. Because if you're gonna wait for like, well, this is what the world did to me, you're fucked.
What
You
if
end
you
up
just-
a fat slob with a shitty Instagram page?
What if you arrest people with 0 friends? If you have 0 friends, you go to jail.
That could work too.
Like if you're a
Go
loser,
make some friends.
if you don't make friends, we do a survey. You have 0 friends. Okay, you have 30 days to have friends, or you go to jail.
And it's just a bunch of people staring at the wall.
And they'll be
not
friends.
making
Now they
You
have
know what's
friends in
funny?
jail.
So when we were in college, we'd go to these random networking events, and you're
Yeah.
forced to talk to people. What happens today for a 21-year-old at a networking event? No one's talking to each
No,
other.
those kids are different though.
The ones that are willing to show up.
Think about Casey Adams. We talk about him now every
Right.
other pod, but that kid's out talking, asking who you are.
Yeah, he'll chat your head
He'll
off.
DM you afterwards. Great to meet you. Want to connect?
Yeah,
He has friends.
he has friends.
But it's just like there's that small. The way
What
I
if
see-
Casey Adams says, I have 0 friends? I'm talking to everyone, but none of these people are my friends.
Then we're screwed.
then we're screwed. Yeah. I
Casey,
think,
do you have any friends?
think
Or are
he
you a
did.
loner?
I think he thinks he has hundreds of friends. I think he does have hundreds of friends.
Let's find out.
Okay. We got to move on. Everyone, if you're listening to this pod right now and you thought, I have no friends, turn the podcast off, put it down, go out and make a friend.
Yeah.
Okay? There's nothing else for you here.
Or I'm going to come and arrest you.
Or Dee's going to show up and arrest you and any venture capitalists that are doing any shady business.
Private equity.
Oh, yeah.
I'll arrest venture capital too.
Okay. Next up, another change that's happening. It looks like people are leaving youth sports.
Yeah.
They're just out. So basketball, football, baseball, everything. Young kids are not playing sports at the same rate that they were. Is this because they're at home on their Instagram with no friends? They're gaming, they don't have any friends?
Before I read the article, I was trying to put in my head what are the reasons why people potentially are not playing sports. Because for us, sports was an instrumental part of our childhood. I think it developed our social skills, teamwork, the ability to just deal with different types of people and situations. And I couldn't imagine a life without sports.
That
as
was
a
the
child.
start of having too many damn friends.
Yeah.
That's where it all started.
You have too many friends when you're in sports. But I'll tell you, living in the suburbs and being a boy, it was automatic. You played sports, right? And
Sadly, you were an outcast if you didn't.
yeah, so like,
Of course, but that's why I think kind of almost the network effect of it not happening. Now,
Yeah.
if nobody's doing it, then why would you be the one to go do it?
so I think what's happened now is now you have parents who are a little more well-versed in parenting and finding the right thing for your child. So if you have a creative as a child, you have a child that's is interested in video games or creating content, whatever it is, you then steer your child in that direction. So today there's choices for parents to send their kids to other things. Because the main thing sports does is give a break for the parent, to give an activity for the child to get interested in. But specifically for boys growing up, I can't speak for how girls were raised, but like boys, you just played sports. There was no other option. There was no go learn how to shoot pictures camp. There may have been, but no one did that shit. And it was just go and sweat your brain off, sit in the sun, and be tired by the time you come home.
Yeah.
And I think today, there's a lot of option. If you're into video games, you're into cooking, you're into things. We encourage everything.
YouTube.
I think that's such an optimistic look at it. I
Yeah.
don't think that's what it is.
So then I looked at the survey.
Okay.
I'm just telling you what I said.
Okay, thank you. That's a very optimistic.
And then before you do the survey, just the impact social media has on, the echo chamber.
Yeah.
So I'm a sports fan. I follow these basketball accounts. This obviously makes sense that youth sports is declining, but if I just look at my social media, in Ball is Life, House of Highlights, Overtime.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of young kids just dunking everywhere. I was like, youth sports is hotter than ever.
Yeah.
You have all these 14-year-old kids like dunking. Bronny's games are crazy.
Yeah.
Like, wow, youth sports are hot.
We like to watch them. Maybe they don't like to participate.
Yeah, but I'm just saying
Yeah.
it's funny how you can just make this narrative in your head without actually understanding the subject.
Yeah.
And another problem with social media.
Here's the real reason. Real reason is the top 3 reasons, Bob, are a lack of fun.
Because it's funner to be on Instagram.
Yes.
Well, not everyone wins. That's another problem with the youth. Everyone has to win.
I mean, there's
and
a lot
in
of losers.
competition. One person wins, one person loses. People don't like losing.
There's a lot of
That
losers
is
on
true.
Instagram.
That is true, though. That's happening a lot. Participation trophies is like a big issue.
Number 2, bad
Instagram.
coaches. Coaches turn off kids. You get some psychopath coach.
Another thing, kids are too soft.
Leadership.
Yeah.
Can't have a coach yell at a young kid
Yeah,
anymore.
I hate to,
Yeah.
once again, I don't want
Yeah.
to come off like that guy, but I think it's that your parents haven't told you what you need to do clearly because you have no friends.
Yeah.
And a coach telling you, hey, run the bases, do your thing.
So
No, I don't like it. I'm starting my YouTube page and I don't need to listen to you.
number 3, which is I'll expand on it, but seems to be the biggest issue, is financial reasons.
Sure.
So they're saying that in today's youth sports, low-income families are being priced out because in order to excel, you got to have money. So maybe the intro, everyone's participating, but then as your child gets older, it gets very competitive. And if you don't have a private coach, you don't have the best training, you don't have the best equipment, you then...
But how is that any different than, I think 2008 was the comparison.
Yeah.
How's that story any different except for 10 more years of economic boom?
I think the issue is so let's say you're 13 and you're playing basketball in Ohio, okay? And you're good. You're a good basketball player. You know who else is 13? Barney.
Yeah.
And you're like, I can't do that. And you're probably being compared. We didn't know how good other
Yeah,
people
but that
were.
goes back to social media.
No, sure, that is
You didn't-
potentially, but no, I remember very vividly when I was 11, like the kind of shock, like, wow, you're not that as good as you think. We went and played in this travel tournament,
Yeah.
and it was a bunch of 6-foot+ kids beating the living shit out of us.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm not going to be in the NBA.
But but that realization came until you played. It comes earlier now.
Yeah.
You're watching on Instagram like, there's no chance I could beat this guy.
I do wonder if there's a decline in activities that require a long time to master.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could do because you're right, you do sign up and on day 1 you're like, I'm going to be the best basketball player ever. You're out there dribbling.
But it takes 5 years.
You make a shot. You look at Barney and you're like, well, fuck that. Right? I'm over that. And it takes 5 years to be
Yeah.
able to even be maybe kind of good.
Yeah, like enough to at least have fun playing it, right? And so if you think about...
I agree. It's intimidating. If you're 14 and you're probably not 6'2", which I think is what Bronny is,
Yeah.
and you can't dunk, how is that discouraging? How discouraging is that for
Yeah.
14-year-old
I'd rather be a
basketball?
fan.
And I wonder if it's the same way with guitar, piano. Like, I just wonder if adoption of those things is down.
Like anything that requires a tremendous amount of commitment
Yeah.
to be a master of craft.
Yeah, it's an instant gratification
It's
world.
it's just sad because when I look back at our childhood of playing sports, we played competitive sports. We had no shot of being professional in anything or even Division I in anything.
Yeah.
But we played competitively and we cared a lot.
And we had fun.
And we had lots of fun. But some of the biggest life lessons happened when you fail, when you get yelled at, when you get told not to do something. That all happens within sports,
Yeah.
and that's separate from parenting because it's not your parents telling you that, it's someone else
Yeah.
that's telling you you're not good enough to make the team, you're on the bench, or you don't get a play in the fourth quarter because this person's better. And like actually thinking about all that and how life is going to be competitive. You aren't always going to succeed. You are going to fail, and you have to handle all that.
Yeah.
Sports teaches you all that, and these kids just don't even want to face that at 14.
No. And I also think tying like, hey, if you do this and work on it, you will see results. And then you do over the course of a year, that's an important lesson. But I do think, I don't know, man, I just can't decide if I'm feeling old and bitter. I just think that that's happening. I think there is a fundamental shift in the majority of young people because of all these factors.
Instant gratification. Because you know why?
And as a
And-
parent, no, but think about it, as a parent, the easy way out is like, yeah, if you're not happy playing sports, don't play.
You're quiet in your room on your phone anyway. What do
Yeah.
I care? You're not even out drinking and having sex and drunk driving. These kids aren't doing that either. That's statistically shown.
Yeah, they're not fucking.
So you're just up in your room. You're not fucking anything.
Yeah.
You're just up in your room on your phone and your Xbox. What do I care if you play sports or not?
yeah.
Yeah, made my night easy.
And by the way,
Yeah.
if you're a child and at the end of the day, what matters, notoriety, fame, or recognition, you can go outside and flip your shoe and you might become famous.
That's what they're doing.
Yes.
Pianos down, shoe flipping and pranks and
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a 14-year-old today that plays basketball on their high school team, no shot at playing college basketball.
As he
When I
used
was
to-
14, I was like, Michael Jordan is God. I want to just watch everything Michael Jordan. That kid now today is who are they looking
I'll
at?
tell you who they're. Damn, Daniel.
they're watching Damn Daniel, then the next
Damn
Damn Daniel,
Daniel.
and they're like, okay, I want to be a Damn Daniel because there's Damn Daniels flying all over the place.
Damn Daniel was
And
on
then
Ellen.
The superstars are Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Then you have FaZe Clan, and so it's like, okay, that's what I do. I do crazy off the wall shit, try to get my page to blow up, to bring knowledge to my game team that I'm starting with little Timmy down the street. And then,
It all happens.
boom, American dream, bitches.
Yeah. Damn, Daniel.
And instead you end up with no friends doing a survey.
Do you have any friends? No. Are you lonely? Yes. Should have played
Right.
sports.
Okay, last but not least, it's fundraiser time.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting closer to the election, and everyone's doing their little fundraiser. And this is the part where you really get to see
True colors.
true colors and who's really worried about the rich elite and who maybe is practicing what they actually preach. Turns out Trump, who, this isn't a shocker, but ran on a message of, he's going to drain the swamp and forget the elite. He's not taking money from anyone, and he's pretty much funding his own campaign. Turns out he's got some pretty pricey fundraiser dinners lined up in the Hamptons coming up here.
Yeah.
What's going on?
So you can get in the door for $5,600
Okay.
per couple. General reception.
Just in the door.
Just in the door.
Okay.
$11,200 gets you in for the VIP reception.
All right.
$35,000 per couple gets you a photo op.
35,000?
35. $100,000 gets you the VIP reception, a photo opportunity, and lunch with the president.
Wow.
And then $250,000 gets you a round table discussion and invite to the show. I think there's like an event after. So Stephen Ross and his wife Kara Ross are hosting it at their lovely Southampton home.
Can I just interject one? I think there's a huge missed opportunity. There should be $1 million level where you get a tweet from the Donald.
Oh, I like that.
Look at that. Shout out. Shout out
Like
to
my
Stephen.
wonderful friend, and you get a tweet with a picture of
Maybe
you and the
5
Donald.
mil.
5 million.
People would pay it.
Yeah, $5 million for a tweet. I mean, shit, I'd probably pay it. Just get the tweet. Like, who's this guy?
Oh, we lost a ton of money last year. What happened? Do you want to pick
He
the
got that
Donald?
tweet. It didn't really result in any business. Man. Okay, so
The reason
truth
why it's
comes out.
big is Stephen Ross is the owner of the Miami Dolphins.
okay.
He is the owner of the Related Group, which so happens to own Equinox and SoulCycle.
All right. Well,
Two liberal elite institutions.
And Hudson Yard in New York, which has to be as liberal elite as it gets, right?
yeah, it's also a donut.
so this guy's just a diehard Republican that owns all these liberal things.
So now there's crazy backlash from the SoulCycle community. Because
No
where
more
are
cycling.
SoulCycles? Where are SoulCycles? West Hollywood, New York City, San Francisco.
I mean,
Just non-MAGA
it's
areas.
the most liberal crowd that exists in the world.
Yeah.
Like vegan girls with tattoos
And gay dudes.
and gay dudes.
And David
Yeah.
Beckham.
And Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Gosh, that's bad for business.
Yeah, so now there's a lot of heat on Twitter and Instagram, how people are boycotting SoulCycle.
I don't think they're boycotting it. No one's boycotting Equinox. No one's giving
No.
up their Equinox. Where are you going?
Yeah.
Where the hell
You
are
going to LA
going?
Fitness?
Yeah, right.
Planet Fitness?
I feel like SoulCycle and West Hollywood could take a hit. Will instructors, will Angela leave?
No. This lasts 1 week. Attendance is slightly down for this week.
Yep.
That's it. One thing we've learned about these vegan liberals is they don't have long memories.
No.
They freak out really hard for 1 week, and then they're like, well, yeah, but I need my sweat. I need to get my sweat.
Yeah.
Luckily,
my soul
I
brothers
don't
and
have to make a decision. I don't go to Soul Cycle, nor do I go to Equinox.
Yeah.
Me neither anymore. Okay.
All right.
Well, that's it. Listen, if you're thinking about linking up with your soul bros and soul sisters this week, think twice. Think about who you're supporting. Might as well go buy the R. Kelly album while you're at it. Okay. That's it, guys. Thank you. Most importantly, thank you for your constant feedback on our episodes, especially when we talk about real topics and stuff like that. You guys giving us your different angles and perspectives on it. I saw you got a message from, I'm a Christian white guy from Middle America, and thank you for what you did.
Yeah.
That's called bringing people together.
I love it.
That's it, guys. Hit us up on Instagram at GroupChatPod. Thank you for listening. Thank you for telling your friends. We'll see you on Friday.
Woo! Woo!
Woo! Guys, if you like that and you want to see more like it, as well as vlogs, other web series, and all the random stuff that I'm doing here on YouTube, don't forget to click that subscribe button. You won't regret it, I promise.